Even the assassins said no, targeting humans was a death sentence. The neon-lit corridors of the Shadow Bazaar hummed with voices from 100 worlds. Traders, smugglers, and killers mingled beneath holographic banners that flickered in alien tongues. At the far end, past the stalls selling exotic poisons and illegal cybernetics, was a door guarded by 2 towering Xyrix enforcers. They were armed, armored, and carried the unmistakable scent of old blood. Behind that door was the Dead Ledger, the place where contracts were taken by those whose names were never spoken aloud. Tonight, a contract sat on the ledger that no one dared touch. "Human target," whispered a scaled merchant, eyes darting nervously as an assassin in a cloak approached the board. "High payout. High risk." The assassin, a Litari with 6 black eyes, studied the details projected in shimmering light. The client was unknown, but the payment was enough to buy a fleet. Normally, that would have been irresistible. Yet the Litari hissed softly, shaking its head. "No," it said, stepping back. The merchant blinked. "No. That's a bounty larger than the Shadow War's ransom combined." The assassin tapped one long claw on the board. "You don't understand. That word, human. That is death." Far across the galaxy, aboard a derelict station orbiting a gas giant, Captain Elara Vance moved with quiet precision. Her hair was tied back, her armor worn but cared for, and the pulse rifle on her shoulder looked like it had been custom-built for someone who survived wars. She didn't know yet that someone had placed a contract on her head. She wouldn't have cared if she did. Humans, after all, were used to being underestimated. It started centuries ago when humanity first ventured into deep space. To the greater galaxy, they were frail, no claws, no venom, no armor plating. But humans had something far more dangerous: a knack for adaptation, a talent for reading chaos and turning it to advantage. They were the species that tamed worlds others abandoned, turned weapons into tools, and allies into legends. And they had earned a reputation: never corner a human. They fight when others flee, think when others panic, and if one survives, everyone remembers. Back at the Dead Ledger, whispers spread like static. The bounty remained untouched for days. Even the Brakthal, a species that gloried in battle, refused it. One of their champions spat acid on the floor. "My clan remembers the siege of Vornis. 3 humans. Entire battalion lost. No honor in dying stupid." The client grew frustrated. More credits were added. The number swelled to something obscene. It didn't matter. Assassins glanced at the board and turned away. To take a human contract was to gamble with extinction. Finally, a young and reckless killer stepped forward. A cybernetically enhanced Sharon, hungry for renown, slammed its clawed hand on the ledger. "I'll take it," it snarled. "A human is just flesh." The bazaar went silent. The merchant's crest flattened. The Litari assassin leaned closer. "You're already dead." The Sharon's pursuit of Elara lasted 4 days. It stalked her through the hollow wreckage of stations, ambushed her on a moon choked with sulfur storms, and finally cornered her in a canyon of fractured ice. But every trap failed. Every advantage melted away. Elara was patient, quiet, and ruthless. She learned its habits, its weapons, its weaknesses. On the 5th day, the hunter became the prey. The Sharon never saw the tripwire. It never heard the silent drone that severed its comms. And when the canyon walls came alive with gunfire, its last sight was of a human stepping from the shadows, her rifle steady, her voice calm. "You should have said no," she told it before pulling the trigger. The body was delivered to the Dead Ledger 3 days later. Elara herself sent it, packed neatly in a stasis crate, with a single message attached. "Tell whoever comes next, we're done being hunted." The Shadow Bazaar froze when the crate was opened. No one spoke. No one touched the board. The contract was quietly erased, and for the first time in years, the dead ledger closed its doors early. From that night on, an unspoken rule traveled faster than any ship: if the name on the contract is human, walk away. Even the assassins said no, because targeting humans wasn't just risky, it was a death sentence.